There is an invisible substance all around you right now that has been bought and sold for staggering sums of money. You cannot see it, touch it, or hold it. But large parts of it are owned, legally and exclusively, by companies and governments. And you are sitting right in the middle of it. It is the airwaves, the radio spectrum, and almost none of it belongs to you. Start with what it actually is. Every wireless thing, your phone, Wi-Fi, radio, television, GPS, the little tag that opens a garage, works by sending information as invisible waves through the air, each at a particular frequency. The whole range of those frequencies is called the spectrum. It is a natural resource like land or water, except you cannot see where one plot ends and the next begins. And like any shared space, it has a hard limit. If two signals use the same frequency in the same place, they smear into noise and both are lost. There is only so much usable spectrum, and it cannot be manufactured. So the airwaves are, in the most literal sense, beachfront property, finite, crowded, and very much worth fighting over. So governments did something that sounds almost absurd when you say it plainly. They drew lines through the air. They carved the invisible spectrum into bands and then sold the exclusive right to use each one. You cannot broadcast on most frequencies, not because you could not build a transmitter, but because someone already owns that slice of the sky above you. Picture the spectrum as one long ruler, every stretch of it labeled with an owner. This band, the military. This one, aviation. These, the big mobile carriers who paid fortunes for them. GPS, a narrow strip, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth crammed into a few small public lanes that everyone shares. It is one of the most valuable maps in the world, and it is a map of thin air. And the sums are extraordinary. When governments auction off a fresh band for mobile networks, the bidding routinely runs into tens of billions for a license to use a frequency in a region for a stretch of years. Not for land, not for a building, for the right to vibrate the air at a particular pitch. Some of the most expensive things humanity has ever bought are completely invisible. The reason is simple. Whoever owns the right band owns the future of wireless. Some frequencies travel far and slip easily through walls. Others carry enormous amounts of data, but only over short distances. The whole march from 3G to 4G to 5G is, underneath the marketing, a story about companies acquiring new slices of spectrum and learning to squeeze ever more through them. And here is the part that reframes the very air. You are constantly surrounded by these owned frequencies. They pass through your home, through this room, through your body, all day long. You are, in a real legal sense, immersed in other people's property and permitted to use only the few small public bands, like Wi-Fi, that were deliberately left open for everyone. The catch is that we keep inventing more wireless things, and the spectrum does not grow. Every new device, every connected gadget, wants a slice of a resource that is already full. So the fights only get sharper, over freeing up bands, over who gets the good frequencies, over squeezing more and more signal into the same finite air. The invisible beachfront gets more crowded and more contested every single year. Which is a strange thing to sit with. One of the most valuable, most fought over resources on earth is something you will never see, floating in the room with you, divided by invisible lines into plots that belong to other people. We turn thin air into real estate, and most of us never once noticed the deed being signed. So the next time your phone finds a signal out of nowhere, remember what it is really doing. It is using a precise slice of the air that someone paid billions to own, permitted by a license you will never read. The airwaves around you were carved up and auctioned off decades ago. You are, quite literally, breathing someone else's property and renting the tiny piece you are allowed to touch.